Now, what's your connection to Mutulu Shakur?
Well, Mutulu Shakur is my cousin, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, and I've been in contact with him. I've been in to see him, since he's been incarcerated.
And Mutulu is the stepfather of Tupac.
Mutulu is stepfather of Tupac.
And the father of Mopreme Shakur.
Father of Mopreme, and he has another son in New York also.
Okay.
And he has a daughter named Sep. That's a daughter that he had with Tupac's mother, Afeni Shakur. Mm-hmm.
Ah, okay.
Sexual, yeah.
Okay.
Which is Tupac's sister, right.
What exactly was Mutulu convicted for?
Mutulu was convicted for, the conspiracy that related to the Brinks robbery in, I think, Nyack, West Nyack or whatever, where 2 police officers was killed and I think 2 Brinks guards.
Okay. You had nothing to do with that whole situation?
No.
Okay.
No, I was in.
Okay. And Mutulu was actually, I think he got 60 years, but I guess he's, at one point there was a story that he was actually released.
Right.
But I spoke to Mopreme about it, and he said
he was sentenced 60 years without the L.
Okay.
He falls under the old terms and the old laws. And under the old laws, you only had to serve 50%.
So 30 years.
So next April, he'll be eligible to be free.
Mutulu served 30 years of a 60-year sentence.
Yeah.
And he was at his what they call mandatory release on that particular sentence. He served every day of his time, less any good time that he earned. He's scheduled to release on February 10th. And on February, he was preparing, he was calling me, he talked to me, he said basically that, I think it's going, he said they went to Afeni because he's gonna be released to California. And I think Afeni had set up some place where he would be living, and they went and, visited that particular place, which they do in the case of everybody to be released on supervision. Mm-hmm. They got to approve your residence. So they did all of that stuff. The 10th was on a Wednesday. And so that Friday, he called me, Friday before the Wednesday, he said, well, I guess it's real. They just asked me today, how am I leaving? And, they want to know, the car, by car or how. And he said, Mopreme is going to pick me up because Mopreme is on the West Coast. He was in Victorville in a prison in California, federal prison in California. And so, all that was arranged. I think it was either Tuesday or late Wednesday. The case management people came to his cell and said, you're not leaving. The parole committee, they gave him some statement about the parole commission didn't give you your certificate of mandatory release. They didn't issue it, so you have to go for a hearing in April. You know what I mean? And
April.
Yeah, we all know that's just some nonsense. But the strange thing is that on the same day of the 8th, of February 8th, the New York Times came out with an article, and the New York Times was really blasting his release, and basically saying that there was another female who was convicted, a white female was convicted in New York State for the same offense, but she got caught on the scene. A lot of people Mutulu was never captured on the scene of this robbery or anything. Mm-hmm. But they're alleging that he's the ringleader. So this last female who is still incarcerated, she had received, for the state, she received 75 years to life. And a lot of people have been petitioning for her to be released, lawyers groups and, all kind of things, and they're not releasing her. So they had that article, and they tried to say, well, how is he being released, and he's the ringleader, and she is the getaway driver, and, so it was in the family of, the police officers and people who died, started clamoring about, I thought he was going to be away, never coming home. Right. He can only be away for the amount of time that he got sentenced to.
Right. Now, how old is he now?
He's, Mutulu is 66 now. 65, 66.
So technically, he'll be 95, 96.
Well, no.
He serves out his whole 60 years.
But they're not going to be able to take him to those. He's sentenced under the old law. And they're going to have to really demonstrate, one or two things, that they believe that he would commit a crime if he was released, or that he was a substantial problem within the prison facility during the course of his incarceration. Right. And, and that has to be really, really documented and proven. So I don't believe that, while he didn't come home, I don't believe that they can establish that, because it ain't so. You know what I mean? And the other thing they neglected to say was that there were other defendants that went to trial with him. It was one young lady, white lady, she was released in 2010. She was convicted with him. She later died of cancer, but she was convicted on the same trial. And it was another young lady, Bartolini. She was convicted and she was sent to Italy. She was later, they did some kind of to go to Italy to serve her time, but she only served 10 years or something like that. Then there was a final, another one who was convicted, and she was convicted, I believe, of also participating in, now one of them, I just want to be clear, was also convicted for participating in a 1983 bombing of a Senate building.
Okay.
Right, and she's out, basically, I think that's the one that got sent to Italy. Then the last one who was on the case with him was served 16 years, but her sentence was commuted. It was a federal case. Her sentence was commuted by President Bill Clinton. And she ended up serving a total of 16 years before she was released. But Mutulu's been incarcerated 30 years. For bank robbery that he pleaded not guilty to, but was convicted, and he served the mandatory release of his sentence.
So basically, he was about to get out,
right?
And because of outside forces,
they jerked it. The reason that the news was still reporting it was because it happened so fast, and this just shows you the power of the government, that they never changed on their website his release date. It still showed that he was released. Yeah. And so the news report, including Channel Fox News, Greg Kelly, and those guys reported that morning of the 10th that Mutulu Shakur has been released from federal prison this morning.
Yeah, and we actually broke the story that he wasn't released.
Right, right.
Everyone had to reference Vlad TV because it came from his son, Mopreme.
Yeah. We knew that night, but even that night, 1010 Winds said Mutulu Shakur is supposed to be released tomorrow morning, But he's definitely not out.
Okay, so he has another hearing in April?
Right, but he'd be trying to do some other things, like he's trying to get some lawyers on top of it, because it's kind of, the maneuver was kind of illegal. It's not even written in their own policy that they could do that. So it's starting with a letter to them and, to honor their own policy. And we're going to see what happens from there.
Have you ever met Khloe Kardashian?
Yeah, lovely girl.
Yeah, there was a rumor that the two of you hooked up.
Is it?
Yeah.
Fucking no, I wish I knew about that.
Nah, it's not true?
Nah.
It was supposed to be in Australia.
I don't know if God is a man or a woman, but I definitely know that bitch is the devil. For sure.
Why so?
Why so? She destroyed lives.